Hey, if you're an investor and you struggle with wasting time and money by choosing the wrong stocks, then you need to get my latest ebook called Wall Street Secret Weapon. It'll set you up to take the shortcut to financial independence. Just go to wallstreetsecretweapon.com, download the free ebook today, and then take the free masterclass. You have literally nothing to lose and the shortcut to financial independence to gain. So go to wallstreetsecretweapon.com to download your free ebook and take the masterclass starting right now. Hey there, 10-minute traders. Welcome back to the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. Today, we have a special guest on the line, Dr. Brett Steenbarger. And in fact, I think he could be one of the most influential people out there as far as developing the mindset and trading and what it takes to be a high-performance trader. And I am exceptionally excited to have him on today. Dr. Steenbarger, thank you so much for coming on. This is the How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast, brought to you by 10MinuteStockTrader.com, where we give you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you trade faster and trade smarter. And here's your host, voted one of the top 100 people in finance by Redwood Media Group, founder and head trader of 10MinuteStockTrader.com, Christopher Ewell.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Chris.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. I came across Dr. Steenbarger while watching other videos on YouTube. I'm one of those junkies that can't get enough about learning how to improve my own skills. And so I'm watching from different sources, and Dr. Steenbarger kept popping up along the way. And so I wanted to reach out to him and see if he would come on the podcast and share some of his expertise and experience with us. So with that being said, Dr. Steenbarger, would you mind giving the audience a little background on who you are and what you do and how you've come to be such a well-known person in the trading field here?
Okay, well, thanks. So I am a psychologist by profession. I teach at a medical school in Syracuse, New York, and I work as a performance coach for people in the financial markets. That includes a variety of different types of traders at different types of firms. So I work with commodity funds, I work with equity funds, I work with funds trading interest rates. I work with global macro funds, proprietary trading groups, investment banks, asset managers. I work with a variety of firms, and that's given me an unusually broad perspective on what makes for success in financial markets. I write a blog called Trader Feed. That's all one word, TraderFeed, traderfeed.blogspot.com, and you'll see a number of links on the blog site to information pertaining to trading psychology. I've written 5 books now and try to share information with the trading community through the blog and through the books.
Okay, perfect. So, you were mentioning earlier that you are a performance coach for traders. So how did you come to be that, right? You go from medical profession to trading coach. How did that come about?
Yes. Well, actually, I haven't changed my profession. I am a psychologist and continue to teach at the medical school. But what happened was during my graduate education, when I was receiving a PhD in clinical psychology at the University of Kansas, I took up trading. And that was in the late 1970s. And I developed an interest in financial markets and trading. And so while I was going to school, I was also trading. And I retained that interest throughout my early career as a psychologist, but it was always a side interest. It wasn't until 2003 that I put them together when I decided to write my first book called The Psychology of Trading. And that was published by Wiley. To my surprise, it became popular, and trading firms became interested in working with me, including one firm in Chicago that brought me on board full time. That was in 2004, and that got me started with traders as a performance coach, as a psychologist who helps traders improve their performance.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting. So, yeah, I think we all have some sort of history with trading and wanting to continue to develop that. But I think it's so incredible how you've taken your passion for it and moved it into not only benefiting yourself but benefiting others through your books and through your education that you provide. So yeah, what an incredible journey that you've been on. That is so cool. So
Yeah,
one thing
it's
that
been a nice way to integrate several of my interests: interest in psychology, and interest in helping people, and interest in financial markets. And I think because I actually trade myself and follow markets myself, I'm able to help people in ways that wouldn't be possible if I were only a psychologist.
that makes a lot of sense, and your reach is stretching farther and wider by the day because of all the work that you do that actually gets published onto the internet. So yeah, you work more than just one on one at this point. You work one to many. I think that's really incredible. So one of the
Yeah,
topics that oh, go ahead.
yeah. I in my actual coaching practice, I don't work with individual traders, never have, and I've always regretted that in one sense. I work with financial firms, and so I've used the blog and I've used the books as ways of getting ideas out there to individual traders, even though I can't work with them individually.
hmm And that's working very well.
Well,
Uh,
thanks.
what I recently stumbled upon that got me excited to reach out to Dr. Steenbarger was an episode that he did with SMB Capital, where he was talking about how good is not good enough, and that if you're learning how to trade and in any performance field, just being good, just being adequate, just making points without making a difference, really isn't going to set you apart to be an exclusive, a high performing trader like that. So I definitely wanted to get you on the podcast today and share that with the audience out there, and kind of go down that rabbit hole a little bit, I guess you could say. Like, if good is not good enough, what are we doing that we should change?
Yes, great question. And as I mentioned in that podcast, in any performance field, think about sports, baseball, football, soccer, think about golf, think about performing fields like the performing arts, think about games like chess. In any field, it's only the elite performers who are able to make a living from their performance. The average performer, the average golf player, the average chess player, the average singer is not going to be on the professional golf tour, is not going to be on the professional chess circuit, it's not going to be on Broadway. And so being average or being just even good is not good enough. If we're hoping to make a living from our craft, then we need to develop ourselves in ways that elite performers develop themselves. And typically, traders don't do that. They learn some trading, they learn some basics, they learn some quote unquote setups or chart patterns, and they immediately try to start trading. Well, that's not the process by which elite performers gain their expertise.
Wait. So you're saying that all the ads on YouTube that I see, where it's one simple chart pattern that will completely change the rest of your life, that's just not the case?
That is absolutely not the case. My current blog posts talk about that. Um, Unfortunately, many traders are trying to become better and better at playing the game when in fact they're playing the wrong game.
What? Okay, so I'm gonna follow up that question with another question there. What game are they playing, and what game are they playing wrong?
The game they're playing is wrong. With across the various firms where I work, I see people who are successful and have been successful for many years, and the percentage of those elite traders, of those successful traders who use the techniques that are typically put out there to the trading public, the percentage is zero. None do.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not like they are better at finding chart patterns and setups. No, that's not the game they're playing. And so, part of what I'm trying to accomplish with the blog, and particularly the most recent posts, is a way of looking at markets and understanding markets that provides a little more depth, a little more understanding, and it's a little more consistent with what I see among successful professionals.
Well, I tell you, as soon as we get off the phone here, I'm going to be reading every blog article I can find on there. And I suggest that the audience do the same.
It was really interesting. A few days ago, I posted something to the blog basically saying that a lot of what is being put out there by various quote unquote trading educators is illusory. It's illusion. It's not based in back tested, and it certainly is not grounded in what actual successful traders are doing. And I received so many hits to that post, and people started emailing me out of the woodwork, saying, I want to learn to trade the right way. It was fascinating. It really struck a chord, and it made me realize that there's a huge gap in terms of what quality material is available to the trading public.
So, okay, great point. And I totally get where you're coming from as far as like backing up just a little bit. If Tiger Woods were not Tiger Woods in his skill level, or if LeBron James were not LeBron James at his skill level, they would not be the elite athlete performers that they are today. So me or you or anyone else listening out there that sits behind a trading screen, if you don't have that elite skill level, you shouldn't anticipate being paid at that elite skill level from your performance. That really rings a bell to me. Absolutely.
Yes, so and people, if I could just interrupt,
absolutely.
There is a process of learning that helps people develop those elite skill levels. It's not just that people are born with these talents. I do think inborn talents are relevant and important, but once people have basic talents, it's how they develop the skills that determines whether they reach elite levels or not. And that's something I talk about in the Enhancing Trader Performance book, that we want to follow a learning and development process that's similar to what the elite athletes go through, or what the elite performers in the arts go through.
Wow. Okay. I will definitely be picking that up. And in fact, for the audience out there, I'm going to leave a link in the description below to not just that book, but to all of Dr. Steenbarger's books and his blog posts as well. This will be very, very interesting to pick up. I am one of those people that I'm always reading. In fact, I'm currently reading Mark Minervini's second book right now, Think and Trade Like a Champion. And
yes.
He talks about in that book, I had Mark on not too long ago, and I'm going to have him on in the near future as well. Very grateful that I have the podcast so I can actually talk to incredible people like you guys. But recently I saw a quote in there, and it really set the tone. I thought personally, it was like, you win or lose just based on what's going on inside your head. How would you agree with that kind of statement, or would you feel differently?
Yeah, I get where he's coming from. The way I put it is that psychology, having a good mindset, is necessary but not sufficient. If you don't understand markets and how markets move, then you will lose money. If you have a good mindset and a good psychology, you will be more calm and composed when you lose money. Mm-hmm. So, if you have that understanding and you have a disrupted mindset, yes, the psychology can interfere with performance. But what typically happens is that traders begin their trading, they don't have a real understanding of markets and market behavior. They try trading way too early in their developmental process. They lose money, they become frustrated, and then they turn to psychology to help with their frustration. The problem is not psychological. The problem is that they are undertaking the learning process in the wrong way, and that is creating the disappointment, the losses, the frustration, and so forth.
That makes a lot of sense, right? So the
It'd be
way that
like
you're
if I
just
studied medicine for a few weeks and looked at a few videos about how to do surgery, and then I go ahead after a few weeks and start trying to do surgery on people. And then get all upset because the people die. It's an exact analogy.
it
But
is, yeah.
that's what people are doing to training. And so then they get frustrated, that the patients are dying. Well, the idea is to learn surgery the right way, and that's what medical education is all about. And what we need is training education that is the equivalent structurally of medical education.
I love so much that analogy. In fact, I'm going to steal that. So every time you hear about it and it comes out of my mouth, I'm stealing it directly from you. So I appreciate that analogy.
Okay, I haven't copyrighted it, so it's yours, dude. Yeah.
Well, I'll always make sure to give credit to you, Dr. Steenbarger.
Okay.
That's so true, and I think a lot of that has to do with the ease of access, right? Like from my phone right now, I have access to the entire world of financial markets. And now basically it's free everywhere, which, used to be.
Yes.
Man, when I first started trading, I remember it was $50 commission costs, and I had
That's
to go
right.
to Edward
That's
Jones
right.
to do
I
it.
do recall.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. But if you look at beginners who develop successfully, for instance, when they come to hedge funds as junior members of teams, they will spend multiple years on the desk directly observing what the experienced portfolio manager is doing. They will provide research and information to the portfolio manager, but they will develop ideas on their own, learn how to do that, get feedback every single day from members of the team. And that's a process typically that takes years. And that's what happens in Olympics training. That's what happens in medical training. Typically, expertise takes years to develop and takes frequent feedback and observation from an experienced professional. And it takes what's called deliberate practice, where you are working on specific skills, getting feedback about how you're doing, correcting your mistakes, working again, and refining. Most traders don't have a setup where they have that source of feedback or where they have that platform for deliberate practice.
You're incredibly right. And in fact, one thing that I've struggled with is like the loneliness of being a trader, right? I mean, there are times where it's just me and a screen, and having other people around, ideas to bounce off of, or even just a coach, just high level coach, something like that. I think for me even would be super useful, or having some sort of group dynamic to be around, where we can learn off of each other, I think would be super useful. So where would you suggest somebody, an individual who is either currently profitable or learning to become profitable one day, where would you think that they could go for that sort of resources, support? Obviously having a trading desk to go to is not something that I have the luxury to go to. Where would somebody go to get some sort of feedback and group community and just learning from others like that?
Yes, I'm a big fan of teamwork and creating teamwork structures to help others, inform others, to learn from others. I think that is one of the allures of proprietary trading firms. When you join a prop firm, not only do they fund you, but many of them offer training and mentoring and direct observation of experienced traders day in and day out. That happens at SMB, for example, the firm you mentioned. And so that is an important way of accomplishing the teamwork objectives. Some people are in locations where they can, and so they create virtual teams. There are trading communities out there. You want to screen them carefully. There are trading communities out there that offer the opportunity to learn and also share ideas within a group. And I'm a big fan of networking, with individual traders. As you interact with traders in chat rooms and various online sources, you can connect with them and form a virtual group of just even a few people who share ideas, review trading together, and learn together.
That makes a lot of sense. I definitely could see that being useful. I have a mistake, I share it with the group, or vice versa, to all learn from each other. Yeah, I see that. So Dr. Steenbarger, as we're coming to the end of our time here, I have to be respectful of Dr. Steenbarger's time. He said he has a hard exit here in just a few minutes. What would you feel as the most important takeaway for the audience member that's listening today?
Yeah, I'd say the most important takeaway is that you want to be on a learning trajectory where you are continually refining skills. Sometimes people talk about the process of trading, when in fact trading consists of many processes. There are processes for generating ideas. There are processes for translating those ideas into good risk-reward propositions as trades. There are skills related to and processes related to risk management. And there are processes related to managing ourselves and making sure that we stay in position. You want to have learning curves for every one of those processes so that you're getting better and better at generating ideas. You're getting better and better at expressing those ideas as good risk-reward trades. You're getting better and better at managing positions and managing risk. And you're getting better and better at managing yourself. That means keeping score. That means looking at the outcomes of what you do, learning from what you do well, learning from the mistakes you make, and constantly getting better. That's the idea of deliberate practice, and that's what gets people to elite levels of performance.
Wow, well said. This is absolutely I've learned a lot today, and I hope the podcast audience has as well. I will absolutely, number one, be picking up your books. As soon as we get off the phone here, I'm going to go on Amazon and order them. And I'm going to have the podcast audience links for all that below, as well as the links to your blog, which I'll be throwing a few hits your way. That's for sure.
Okay, all right. Always appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely, Dr. Steenbarger. Thank you so much for coming on today. This has been highly educational, and I'd love to have you back on because I think we've only really just hit the tip of the iceberg with what we could learn from you.
Great. I'll mention one last thing. I recently wrote a book on a blog platform. It's where each chapter is a separate blog post. And as a result, the book is free. You can just click and go to the blog and read the book.
Uh-huh.
And that book is called Radical Renewal. There's a link on my blog site, Trader Feed blog site. And the book deals with the topic of trading and spirituality and ways in which we can overcome our egos to be more open-minded and to better perceive and act upon patterns in markets. If we're full of our own thoughts, if we're full of our own fears, if we're full of P&L, then we can't have an open enough mind to really see what markets are doing. And so spirituality is all about keeping an open mind and getting past ego. So I think it's a topic very relevant to traders, and some might want to take a look.
I agree with you. That just for 1 second made me think, and I apologize, I'm about to encroach on our time here, but it made me think of something I had just heard from a different video of yours where you were talking about how meditation and mindfulness practices and you were talking about listening to each individual instrument in the music and how important that is to get into a flow state. I definitely want to have you back on because
okay,
I have all these questions now.
Awesome. Okay. Well, again, I appreciate the time together, and my email address is on my blog site. And so if listeners have questions, they're certainly welcome to contact me.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Steenbarger. And thank you guys so much for tuning into today's How to Trade Stocks Options podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and enable notifications. That way you never miss any of the tools, tips, and tricks that we upload every single week to help you trade faster and trade smarter. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Hey, did you realize that you could get the secret weapon that every investor needs right now to start changing your financial future for free? Yeah, that's right. Just head on over to triplestockprofits.com and download your free Triple Stock Profit System ebook today.
10MinuteStockTrader.com content is for information and educational purposes only. It is not, nor is it intended to be, trading or investment advice or recommendation that any security, futures contract, options contract, transaction, or other financial instrument or strategy is suitable for any person. Trading securities can involve high risk and the potential for total loss of any funds invested. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl, through its content, financial programming, or otherwise, does not provide investment or financial advice or make investment recommendations. Investment information provided may not be suitable for all investors and is provided without respect to the individual investors and audience's financial sophistication, financial situation, investing time horizon, or risk tolerance. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl are not in the business of trading securities trades, nor does it direct client commodity accounts or give commodity trading advice, tailored to any particular client situation or investment objectives. 10MinuteStockTrader.com and Christopher Uhl are not licensed financial advisors, registered investment advisors, or registered broker-dealers. Stocks, options, futures options, and other financial instruments not included here involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. You alone are responsible for making your investment and financial trading decisions, and for evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any financial security and broker platform. For more information, please visit 10MinuteStockTrader.com/legal. Thanks for stopping by.